Welcome back to Bite Size Sports. What did we learn yesterday? Well, we learned to go with your gut and never bet with the Titans. Oh man, such a disappointment. Full disclosure, when the script for these two episodes was written by yours truly, I originally had all four away teams winning. Maybe a bit of a spoiler alert for the rest of this episode, so sorry. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just mathematically, it seemed impossible, or at the very least incredibly improbable, that four away teams would win in these four games this weekend, which I tell you because that's the main reason for my backtracking and picking the Titans against my better judgment and admittedly my own bias. A little bit of that Colts fan bias sneaking in. But I digress. Congratulations to the Bengals and the city of Cincinnati and all the Bengals fans and all the new bandwagon jumping fans. This is great. The city and the team deserve it. And frankly, if you're pulling for an underdog, there aren't many left in the NFL landscape for you to choose from. You know, what are you going Bengals Niners? Is that what we're doing? We doing a 1987 run it back? I don't know. Let's find out. Starting with tonight's first matchup, the Los Angeles Rams head to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 3-point favorites heading into this showdown. The FPI, ESPN's Football Power Index, gives the Bucs an astonishing 65.8% chance to win. Which leads me to the question, what Bucs games have you guys been watching for the last month? Because there's no AB, there's no Godwin, the running backs are constantly hurt. It sounds like we're going to have Leonard Fournette back. That could be a big get for the Buccaneers. But will it really be enough? I think this Rams defense is going to surprise a lot of Tampa Bay fans. It shouldn't come as a surprise. This is a pretty solid defense. I do believe they'll be able to get after Tom, and they're going to shut down what is already a bit of a non-existent run game. The question then becomes, is Tom Brady going to have enough with the tools he has on the outside to get past the Rams? And the real question to me in regards to who's going to win this game is, how many avoidable mistakes will Matt Stafford make? Because if he keeps that to one, keeps it slim to none, the Rams are the winners here. I think the only way they lose this game is if they shoot themselves in the foot. Self-inflicted wounds could absolutely take this team out. But looking at these lineups, looking at these rosters, I gotta say I think the Rams are the better team right now going into this matchup. And as we learned last week, and as we've seen time and time again throughout the regular season, home field advantage isn't what it once was, at least not in this season. So, for my money, let's put the Rams. We're getting Rams by 2. All right? Rams by 2. I still think these are incredibly close games. I think we're going to be blessed again. We were spoiled yesterday. I think we're going to be equally spoiled today with some great football games. This one, I do believe it will be close because Tom Brady is on the other side, and he just doesn't get blown out in the playoffs very often. So there you have it. I would say passing game advantage, slight edge to the Bucs, although the Rams have clearly the better receiving core, so advantage in the receiving end of the passing game, clearly, despite the Buccaneers maybe having a better tight end situation. Higbee is no slouch. OBJ and Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp on his own probably makes this argument. Defensively, this is very close. I'd almost call it a wash, but we're gonna give our advantage to the Rams. And there we go. Like we said, 2-point victory for the Rams today on the road. So lock it in, folks. Which leads me to the nightcap. So the Buffalo Bills moving on down to Kansas City for a 6:30 showdown with the Chiefs, who are 1.5 point favorites. 1.5 point favorites probably makes a little more sense and sounds better. Now this one, of all of the FPIs we've seen, this one actually goes the other way. So the Football Power Index has the Bills with a 52.1% chance to win, not only the closest margin that we've seen in the FPI all weekend, but the only one that actually is picking the away team and thus the underdog to win. So, the one time the FPI agrees with me, maybe we should revert and go the other way. However, let's break it down. So the Bills last week had one of the most impressive playoff performances an offense has seen in the history of offense or football or Buffalo or snow or any of that. Only not scoring on drives in which they were taking a knee to run out the clock. So just as efficient as an offense can be. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have struggled offensively to be their true selves. They did get Tyreek Hill back, so they should be able to push the ball downfield. We've seen Pringle, we've seen Mecole Hardman step up, especially fantasy players. If you've caught on, they're pretty decent options for some daily fantasy lineups, often coming in at a bargain. So the passing game, I mean, I give this just by the slimmest of margins. I have to give the quarterback play, the passing game, to Kansas City. Mahomes has just done more of it, and he's won more big games, and he's played in Super Bowls. Josh Allen, despite having a great week last week, hasn't done any of those things yet, and we'll have to see if this is the week that he does it and kind of puts that to rest going forward. But until he does, slight edge to Mahomes. Now the running game is a complete wash. I am going to give a slight edge to the Bills because Singletary has improved. He has come on, and at the very least, the Bills seem to be away from their running back committee, while the Chiefs are completely the opposite. They are going further and further towards committee play with the recent uptick in snaps for Jerick McKinnon and increased production from him. Last time CEH was out, it was the Williams show the entire time, and Williams has still been a valuable pass catcher. And frankly, whether or not Edwards-Helaire was healthy before McKinnon came on, you could play Williams as a flex or an RB2 regardless of who was sharing the backfield snaps with him because of his pass catching ability. And just seemed to be, at least every Sunday, there'd be one broken down pass play where Williams was able to leak out of the flats and catch the ball downfield for a good 20 to 30 yard gain. Some of those turned into touchdowns. I digress as we transition to the actual receiving core. And this one, I have to give, I'm giving it to the Chiefs, although the Bills have really improved here. McKenzie has stepped up well. Obviously they have Diggs. Cole Beasley is back, and they seem to be stubbornly sticking with him, even though Davis and McKenzie have both stepped up and honestly maybe been more useful with their touches. So if anything, I think the Bills need to do themselves a favor and play less Cole Beasley, but he does have that clutch gene. He makes some big catches. And then, of course, we've already talked a little bit about Kansas City's pass catchers, and with Tyreek, if he's back at 100%, then this may become a Chiefs win here, maybe advantage Chiefs, and maybe because of the Kelce versus Dawson Knox. I mean, Knox is good, but he's not Travis Kelce. This may end up going Kansas City's way. And then defensively, would almost be another wash here. Neither of these teams has been taking you to task with some just outstanding defense. But numerically, but the Bills are great. Well, they number one potentially. I mean, the numbers say the Bills have this great defense. Now, for fantasy wise, I can say, yeah, Jordan Poyer's that dude. But if I have to give the defense points, which I do because that's the format that I've laid out for these episodes, it's definitely an advantage to the Bills. They should have the better defense going in. So what do we have? Kansas City as a nearly 2-point favorite, but the Bills are the near favorite based on the power index. Well, I am telling you folks, I think this is going to be the year that someone's curse is broken. Can you imagine it? Can you believe it, folks? I'm about to say it. I'm about to will it into existence with your help. The Buffalo Bills will beat the Kansas City Chiefs by 4 to go on and host the AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And it will be just fantastic for one of those two franchises who have seen their share of disappointment. The Chiefs at one point would have been a franchise in that same group, but they have had their time, and their window isn't closing by any means. So this year, they're not quite the team that they were. They need to make some adjustments, and Josh Allen, Lord willing, if he can avoid the kind of mistakes he made against the Falcons late in the regular season, if he has a 3-interception game, all this goes out the window, and there's no way the Bills can win a game in which he throws 3 picks. But that's not going to be the game we see today, because the Buffalo Bills, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. There we go, Bills by 4. We will see you next week in time for these championship game predictions. I sure hope I produce something between now and then, though, so you may want to subscribe. You may want to click the notification bell so you are always notified of new uploads. And in the meantime, I've been Kev. You've been all right. We'll see you next time.